Hello there. I wanted to make a quick video today about chords and how you make them. Now, YouTube is an incredible resource and there's so many people out there teaching guitar songs and how to play them and how to do riffs and things like that. But I'm finding, as a guitar teacher myself, more and more that people are watching YouTube, they're learning riffs, but they have no idea what they're playing or how to explain the things that they're learning. And that's it's quite an interesting problem to have. When I was growing up, YouTube was just getting started and there wasn't really the ability to watch someone break down a riff or whatever. There might have been a video clip of an artist playing the song and you just sort of, you could watch it and figure it out from watching, but there wasn't really a breakdown on riffs, and you had to still figure out, what the chords were and what the notes were, and there was a certain amount of theory that was necessary to understand what was going on. But I'm finding that's less and less likely and less popular, I guess you would say. So I wanted to put together a little video that explains how to put some chords together so that you can understand what you're playing and how to replicate it if you need it to change a key, or you want to write your own song that has a similar vibe or a similar sound to what you're hearing. So hopefully this helps. Here we go. So I've talked about this a little bit before on the channel, but to make a chord, you need 3 notes essentially. So today we're going to look, we'll do things in the key of, let's say E major. E major works well for guitars. Now, you can play an E major chord. All you need is 3 notes, okay? So you've got your E major scale. So we'll establish a few things first. E major scale. So you've got 8 notes from top to bottom, E to E. E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. 8 notes. When you make a major chord, you take 3 of those notes and together they create the major chord. So you've got the E, the first note, then G sharp, the 3rd note, and then you've got the 5th, which is a B. So it's a major chord or a major triad. So that's basics, bare bones, how you start. Now, to make something like a, let's say an E6, which you don't hear very often, but from time to time you do, you would add the 6th note of the scale to that chord. So, once again, I've not warmed up. Now the 6th note of that scale is a C sharp, right? So to play an E6, you take an E major chord and you find a C sharp somewhere to add to that. Now there's one down here, or you could add this one here. There's a couple of different options, but that is how you go about building chords from the ground up, knowing what should go into them by the number associated with the scale, okay? Now here's where it gets interesting. It's all interesting, but more interesting perhaps. Chords that are very popular in music today is you'll often hear major 7s or major 9s. So the way that this comes about is, again, we'll take our E major scale and we'll take an E major chord. Now, it's easier to play it a little bit if we do an E like this. So an E major 7 is where you find the 7th note of the scale and add that to the chord you were playing, okay? So the last note before the octave. So to do that here, we've got our E chord, then we add a 7 in, E major 7. Now, this is the fun one, and these are probably my favorite chords. You do hear them a lot, pop music particularly, R&B, that sort of thing, but it is a major 9. Now, I want to pop a little bubble here, and there's some people who may disagree with me, but this is how I've learnt and been taught, is to make a major 9, I can hear you thinking already, hang on a sec, there's only 8 notes in a scale. How can I get to 9? That's insane. How it works is you get the 7th note, so we've got the 7th note, E major 7. E major 9 is when we actually add a 2. So you've got 1, the F sharp. So you'd find your major 7, and then you add an F sharp. I'm going to bar across the top fret here to add an F sharp. Because 7 plus 2 equals 9. And that's how you find a major 9 chord. Now, next level, we're going to diverge a little bit into 7s again, take a step back, into what you would call a dominant 7, okay? So this is often found in blues scales, where the 7th note in a scale is lowered by 1 semitone. So instead of playing an E major scale and having the 7th note be a D sharp, the note becomes a D natural, like so. Now you'll hear this again in blues music, but lots of rock and roll, classic rock, where the 7th is lowered a semitone. And when you play a dominant 7 chord, also known as just E7, not major 7, E7, is when you have an E major chord and then you add a D natural, not a D sharp, a D natural. Like so. Interesting, right? And then when you go to make an E9, not E major 9, like I was showing you earlier, E9, again, very popular in blues, bluegrass, some rock, and they can be, in a lot of R&B, gospel music as well. We'll slide it up here. There's a very popular hand position or neck position on the guitar to play a 9th chord. So you've got your E major triad over here. Now we add our D for the E7. And to make it 9, we're going to take the same rule we applied when we made the E major 9. So we're going to add an F sharp here. And together it sounds like this. Or like this. That is how you play an E9. So it's pretty interesting. And that's really, I'll probably stop it there, otherwise it's going to get too confusing, too much to take in. But that is a crash course in how to make chords using what you know, using scales, and using the basic chord knowledge that you have to add in extra notes to expand those chords and make things a little more interesting. So I really hope that helps. That helped me a lot when I was playing guitar, and if you, or learning guitar rather, we're still learning though, aren't we? But if you have any questions, let me know. I'll tell you what I do know. I don't know everything, but I will tell you what I do know. And if I don't know, I'll find out and at least point you in the right direction to find someone who can give you a hand. But yeah, hopefully this is valuable to you and helpful. And if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.